Behind me is the 2024 Ford F-150 Tremor. How do I know it's a Tremor? Well, it's, let's check it out. It's written right here. It's also written back here. And, well, guess what, folks? It's also written right there. So this is gonna be our first impressions of the Ford F-150 Tremor. We're gonna talk about why we bought this model, what we love about it on first impressions basis, what we like less about it, what Ford could have done differently, and why you might wanna get either a more equipped or less equipped model. So please like and subscribe, turn bell notifications on to not miss out, because we're gonna be fully reviewing this later on, and then much later on, we're gonna be doing probably either a high mileage review, well, high mileage, 10 to 15,000 mile review, so a 6-month review and a 1-year review. Who knows exactly how long we'll own this? It'll depend a lot on resale value. It'll also depend a lot on how much we like it. The one good thing about getting this is that we got a huge rebate. Ford is starting to put big, huge rebates on their vehicles. So watch to find out why we bought it, what we plan on doing with it, all our first impressions, what we like, what we dislike, and what we feel is missing on this Ford F-150 Tremor. Hey, look, I think I managed to say Tremor almost as many times as it's written on the vehicle. So let's put the pedal to the metal, jump right in, turn bell notifications on to not miss out. Thank you so much. Let's get to it. All right, so here we are with the 2024 Ford F-150 Tremor. Let's give it the beans. Let's put the pedal to the metal. That's with stability control on. Okay, that was quick. That was very quick. So although we got a good amount of tire spin in there. Sorry Marie. Sorry.
Don't forget you have the baby there.
Yeah, I know, and even though the baby's in a race seat, I really didn't expect those tires to spin, but I am in 2 high right now. Maybe I should have been in 4 high, but it does go to show that the stability control system on Ford's F-150 Tremor for 2024 does allow you to get some tire spin. It's allowing you to have a wee bit of fun, and it's not surprising though. Normally the technology keeps the tires from spinning for most manufacturers, most models. Ford's letting you have a little bit of fun with that. The back end stayed straight. I wasn't having to play around with the steering wheel just to keep this in a straight line, and that was a good amount of surprising fun for me. Fun for me, and
yeah.
Little disappointment
No,
from you.
not disappointment. No, it looks like it has a lot of power.
It does, yes.
Because it's a big truck.
Yeah,
surprising, like always.
500 pound-feet of torque, and I believe we'll post it at the bottom, but 400 or 410 horsepower. So that is a ton. Now, what are you noticing so far? This is your first impression. This is your first ride.
Like always, the aesthetic, because you know more the motor and stuff like that, but for me it's the look. Inside, this orange stitches reminds me of the Bronco Badlands that we had. I really love it. I love the pattern on the seat.
You must love that it actually says Tremor, because with the Lightning, we've owned a bunch of trucks, but with the Lightning we were kind of disappointed. You had mentioned it yourself, like why didn't they badge the seats,
at that
Lightning
price?
Or Lariat? Yeah, 112,000 Canadian dollars. Then they've reduced the price since then by 10 grand and have promotions finally now. But
the interior was looking like a normal truck at 60K maybe.
Yeah, it was looking pretty
half
normal.
of the price. Yeah. No, so I really love the seat, the pattern on it, the way that they put many material that blend together perfectly.
Yeah.
On the seat, the leather and the, I don't know how you call that kind of material.
Yeah, it's a mix of cloth material, but the cloth doesn't look really like cloth. It looks like, it's hard to describe because it looks so much better than just, regular cloth with the mix of leather. It's kind of like modern design where house design will use wood, metal, and stone. Well, here it's a mixture of components between cloth, leather, and plastics that from the distance don't look like plastic.
And we will see with the time if it's easy to wipe, but looks like it's easy to wipe because it looks like plastic, like you said, a little bit.
We'll find out with the baby if it's easy to
soon.
wipe or not. We'll find out soon.
And the other thing that I noticed about this car, I would say I just forget. I just forget about it.
Well, you're talking about how you love the space of the vehicle.
The comfort of the seat. I always really love the Bronco, but being back in an F-150 looks like I'm on the couch. I always said that every time I'm in an F-150. Still the same.
Feels like you're on the couch.
Yeah, so comfortable. Feels like I'm on the couch. The Bronco was comfortable, but tinier seats. This one is more, I don't know if it's the right way to say it, but fluff feeling under my butt.
It's like, it sort of feels like as if it was memory foam.
Yeah.
You kind of just sink into your seat nicely and then get held in position. Now there isn't a ton of, actually the bolstering for a truck, bolstering is the side support. For a truck, it's a lot of side support because we're not that many decades away when a truck just had a flat back. So this does hold you quite well for a truck, but it's nothing like a race seat. It's not a Recaro race seat. It's not
doesn't hold you that much in a position, so you can move. You have a lot of space, but it's comfortable.
It also allows different types of people. So I did watch a critique recently by one YouTuber. I think she's absolutely fantastic, Sarah Intuned, but she mentioned how the seat didn't have a ton of bolstering. Well, I can tell you the reason for that. If this had a ton of bolstering, side support, the way, let's say, my Toyota MR2 Bride seats have, well, then it'd just fit one, essentially, my size and smaller. I'm at the maximum. I have to push myself into the Bride seats and then I'm stuck there. So these Ford F-150 trucks need to be built for, your petite female, your petite 18-year-old driver, as well as your Texas rancher, your 6'4" Texas down south, the big boys. So this needs to be, they're selling about roughly 750 to 900,000 Ford F-150s per year. They need to have sort of a one size fits all for the seats, but they do it well because, like you said, it's comfortable, and that at the end of the day is what matters.
For sure, because I'm not large, I feel more like I'm doing that the first ride in that car, because with the Bronco it was more smaller, but I will adjust.
You'll adjust. That's nice of you to say. But on a point of what Ford could have done differently is the side support. I've seen it done before. I believe my 1990 Nissan 300ZX had this. I haven't seen it really in very many manufacturers since, but the side support electric, so that you can just use the electric button to squeeze yourself into just the perfect position so that you don't have very much left-right movement. However, it's a truck. You probably shouldn't be driving it to the point where you're getting sloshed around left or right. Now, of course, when I'm testing out these vehicles, I drive them a little harder. So, Marie, I think normally the truck won't be driven that hard and you won't be sliding around left, right nearly as much.
Just when you drive.
Yeah, it's just when I drive for a little review.
I'll be fine.
Precisely. And of course, when you're driving, you also have the support of the steering wheel. You have generally a little bit more support points because you're holding on to the steering wheel as a support point, puts a little pressure back into the seat, and that really helps. However, with the incredible Blue Cruise on this, with even changing lanes by just hitting the blinker, you might actually not be touching the steering wheel, which will show you how that technology works. But I'm actually really impressed. I had trouble with my Lightning, and one of the main reasons I sold the Lightning was because I had trouble with the Blue Cruise. But the Blue Cruise in this 2024 is incredible. I'm blown away. I went from really not liking the technology because of how bad it was in my Lightning until they changed that front camera, which I had already sold it by then. But it's incredible in this.
Yeah, I was surprised when you told me that yesterday when you came home with the truck.
that I loved the Blue Cruise.
I was sure Blue Cruise was your worst enemy forever.
Yeah, well,
but now you change your mind. That's good.
And some people criticize when people change their mind, but I think that's, you know, if you're intelligent, you'll always go by, you're open-minded, you'll always go by the newly collected data and observations, and you got to be open to changing your opinion based on changing, developing data. And well, the data here says my back is very happy. I have really bad back problems. I've had them since 2008, roughly 2008, 2009, a long time. And my back is really comfortable in this, and the heated seats really help. Even though it's not very cold out, I've got the heated seats on 2 right now, because 3 is actually too hot for the moment, for the temperature outside, but it really is good for the back.
Yeah.
Absolutely loving from the inside, in between the seat comfort and the quality of the suspension. A Tremor does not have the same suspension as an F-150, regular F-150, and it does make it a lot more comfortable. Very impressed with the suspension, and of course it's an F-150. You're getting the truck with the interior cabin space. It's a number 1, 10 out of 10 when it comes to interior space, because it's got just the best interior space. 10 out of 10 on comfort. Now we'll talk about technology in just a minute, so stay tuned. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn bell notifications on, and we're gonna get back to putting the pedal to the metal, and also talking about technology and showing you how great this suspension is. Yes, a Tremor is more money, but you are definitely getting more bang for the buck. In this case, it is a situation of spend more, get more. Now for cornering. And I find these roundabouts actually perfect to test some of the cornering here. And oh, you can feel it's a big, heavy truck. So, you know, it's great handling for a truck. Fantastic handling for a truck, but it's nothing to write home about if you've driven any sports vehicle whatsoever. And the Tremor, actually, this is something to take note. Wow, the suspension is, other than the Ford F-150 Raptor, the best suspension on the bumps. So it's the second best suspension on the bumps, the speed bumps, the holes in the road, off-roading. But it's not the Raptor, but it is incredible, and it is $30,000 less than a Ford F-150 Raptor. So the 2024 Ford F-150 Tremor, in my opinion, if you want something that drives comfortable and you don't have an endless budget, this is the truck to get. But it is 2 inches higher, so it is a little more wobbly in the corners. So this isn't the truck you're gonna wanna be taking those corners excessively quickly in. But if you're really looking to take corners quickly, buy a Ford Mustang, buy a Porsche 911, the new Mustangs, the 2024 or the 2015 to 2023 generation. So the last 2 generations, you're not going to be disappointed in how they handle. And if you get a Shelby GT350, you're gonna be really quite pleased. But I'm actually very surprised with my 1999 and 2000 Porsche 911s, because they're just a blast to drive in the corners. But then compared to the Mustangs, they're pretty boring when it comes to sound, and even and also very much acceleration. But actually, acceleration, they're pretty good. It's just the Mustangs are incredible on acceleration. They give quite the thrill. Now let's go through these little bendies here. So, nice little bendies here to go through. Yeah, it's not nerve-wracking, but it's definitely it's interesting. You can definitely feel the weight of the vehicle, the height of the vehicle. 2 things that make it go great over bumps and imperfections in the road, but 2 things that are not great for trying to get through the bendies. But hey, it's a truck. Probably shouldn't be taking the bendies at super high speeds anyways. There we go. Not bad at all. You know, 5 out of 10 if we were to forget that this is a truck, but when you consider it is a truck, it's taking those bendies quite well for a truck. It could be better, but big tires, high up, you can't really expect much more. All right, highway merging speed. Absolutely fantastic. The 3.5 liter EcoBoost. It's a V6 twin turbo. 3.5 liter V6 twin turbo, that's 6-cylinder with 2 turbos, is just fantastic when it comes to power. That was accelerating to merge onto the highway from 60 to 120 kilometers per hour. And it's just absolutely fantastic because we didn't go over 4,500 RPM. And I am breaking in the engine right now for the first 1,000 kilometers, so I really am trying to keep it under 4,000 RPM to break in the engine and also vary the RPM between, you know, 1,000 and 4,000 RPM. So you don't want to just drive 10 hours or 20 hours at 1,700 RPM here, or 1,600 RPM at highway cruising speed. You don't want to just set it and leave it there for hours, because that's not properly breaking in the motor either. But I do love Blue Cruise, because I take my hands off the steering wheel, and if I hit the blinker, it will absolutely, so Blue Cruise deactivated there. It noticed that my eyes weren't in the correct position. You need to be looking ahead, but I've been using this and I've been loving the fact you just hit the blinker, it automatically changes lanes for you. It keeps you right in the middle of the lane. There's no annoying beeps, no annoying noises. And speaking of annoying noises, some manufacturers, like when I tested out the Hyundai Santa Cruz, when something's in your blind spot, it beeps at you. Just when someone's in your blind spot, even if you're not merging, there's no, you know, you're not in a situation where you're about to have an accident and the thing starts beeping at you. So rather unpleasant. How are you finding the handling so far, Marie?
Really good.
Yeah,
because it's comfortable, and like you said, the suspension is made to be comfortable too. It's like nothing. You turn and I don't feel like I will go on the side easily. Yeah, it's really comfortable ride.
You don't feel like you're being thrown in, you're against the window.
No.
What vehicle was it that we were test driving? I'm unfortunately had you hit your head on the window. I cornered so hard, you hit your head on the window.
I guess it was the Bronco, because the plastic were more at my head
height.
Head height. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, you always did that.
You always make me smile. You're so cute. So let's go test out some real speed, a real road nuisance. But I do have a bad point to talk about. I'm really happy with the technology. Everything's super accessible, close by, at the edge of your fingertips. The Bluetooth is now absolutely incredible, but $80,000 and no adjustable headrest. That reminds me of like the 2011 or 2010, 2011 Mustangs, even if you got the GT, and then they finally had the adjustable headrests. I believe it was for 2013, and I thought that was quite nice. Now, the headrest is at, for me, the perfect position. For you, headrests at the right position, or do you feel it's too forward facing?
No, I feel perfectly good.
The 2012 V6 Mustang we had, that was one of your major complaints. The headrest was not adjustable,
pushing me there,
and it was pushing you way ahead. So the headrest position is good, but it should be adjustable on an 80,000 Canadian. So Americans, please, if you're when you're watching, don't freak out and write in the comments, this is insane. And I did get, you know, everyone right now gets an $8,000 rebate on this truck this month, or 0% financing. It's one or the two, so the $8,000 rebate comes with a bit more interest rate, which I really didn't mind because I'm leasing for 3 years, so I won't be that badly affected by the interest rate. Mind you, had I been buying the vehicle, and I'm probably switching this in a year anyways, it's a 1-year review for the channel, but had I been buying this and keeping it for 3.5 years or more, it would have been more advantageous to finance 72 months at 0%, because compared to, let's say, 9 months ago, it would have been no rebate and roughly $17,000 to $18,000 of interest. Not the case anymore. Now let's check out these speed bumps. Now let's check this out. That's a pretty big bump. That was 43 kilometers an hour. Let's take the next one at a good 55 kilometers an hour. So a huge benefit of this Ford F-150 2024 tremor is the suspension. Really 9.5 out of 10 suspension, because the Raptor suspension is definitely better, but it's also $30,000 more. So we're eating up these bumps, very comfortable inside, not very much noise. The door panels are extremely thick. They've got big thick rubbers. Downside, you have to kind of almost slam your door to get it to actually latch properly, and that's because another big speed bump. The only noise we hear is because we have a plastic box recycling bin rattling in the back. Otherwise, we're going over these bumps pretty much dead silent. You got the windshield, laminated windshield. Let's check out the windows here. They are dual pane windows, so you've got 2 layers of glass for your windows on the sides, so that creates great sound deadening. You got really thick doors, recycled blue jeans, all used as sound deadening material. Works out really well. So just overall, yeah, interior 10 out of 10. Suspension 9.5, because yes, we have come across better suspension, and that was on our 2019 Ford F-150 Raptor. And the Lightning actually had really good suspension too. I think I like this suspension more than what's on the Lightning.
I think too.
Yeah, and I definitely like this more than what's on a regular, let's say, XLT or Lariat F-150. So tremor, definitely worth it. Love the dual exhaust in the back. Now let's get to the outside, talking about some of the outside styling, what we love, maybe what we love less as well. We did just buy the vehicle, and one little down point is we do have a check engine, but we do have Ford Pass. So very cool with Ford Pass, gives us a little alert, told us exactly what it is. It has to do with the coolant for the heating inside the cabin. So likely there's an air bubble somewhere in the coolant system, caused a check engine, not red check engine, which is pull over and call the towing right away, but a little yellow check engine. And I'm watching, of course, the temperature gauges, which I love the technology on this. The dash, I can see my engine temperature, my transmission temperature, all sorts of off-road data, like the angle, front and back, left and right angle of the vehicle. You've got trail turn assist on this. We'll go through all the technology and show you what all the buttons do in either this video or an upcoming video, because we do want to make sure that the videos are informative but not excessively long. So that was a horrible road, and we're in great comfort, beautiful view, great truck to go take a nice long drive through the hillside with, and great technology. So it hurts when you fill up. So one of the things you'll see here in the dash is that yeah, it's a 135 liter fuel tank, but as you can see, you've got all your information there: temperature of the transmission, the motor, oil temp, you've got how many kilometers or miles to empty, and yes, it does take a lot to fill up. You've got your RPM, your speed, everything is very visible. Currently doing 15.9 liters per 100 kilometers, but we've been testing it out. Once the motor's broken in, we should get better fuel economy than that. Now I do love the switches up here. I can reach them without too much effort, but you've got your 360-degree camera switch. You've got your button for turning the front and back sensors on or off. They're automatically always on. You've got your emergency light, stability control turn off, and your off-road cruise control. And you might be wondering, hey, where's the trail turn assist? I thought a Tremor had trail turn assist. It does, but you have to go under features here. So everything's very accessible. Even while I drive, go to features, you've got your trail turn assist there. You even have your owner's manual, because they're saving paper. They're putting the owner's manual in there. You've got your Pro Power on board, which if you want to run power out the back, 2000 watts, you're gonna have to press here, and you're gonna have the vehicle running. So you're gonna keep it on idle. I am a little disappointed though with the Tremor. The 401 can no longer come with a panoramic roof. So no roof on the Tremor. Little critique, because $80,000, you think you could get the option. You used to be able to 2023 and earlier, but for the 2024 Ford F-150 Tremor, you can no longer get that panoramic roof, and that is that's a low. There's a lot of highs. This is a vehicle with mostly all highs, but that is one element that I can say I'm going to put in the low category, bad or hate category, however you might want to put it. But for me, there's nothing really that I hate about this, so let's just call it a low. Dual zone is fantastic. Marie and I can each have the temperature to the setting that we want, so really like that. You've got your fan speed right here, so all very easy to use, simple, straightforward system. Everything is, where you'd expect it to be, except for drive modes. At least they put it out pretty big here. But if you want to block your rear diff, you press this in. And if you want to change your drive modes, you turn the dial. You've got great on the 12-inch screen here, all digital, no analog. But on the screen there, you get your driving modes. You don't actually get the picture of what looks like a Tremor, because the Tremor here, the 401, does not have these LED lights in the front. So that's not actually our truck. That looks a lot more like a Lariat or a Platinum. But hey, small detail. Love how when you go into rock crawl mode, you check this out. You've got your white lines telling you where you're going to go, and your off-road camera, so you can spot everything in the front. That is awesome technology. Really helps people and I got to slow down to 5 kilometers an hour when I'm in the current mode that I'm in. But you can see the technology that they're showing is just, check that out. That's awesome. Find that very cool. That's for rock crawl. So for rock crawl, under 5 kilometers an hour. All your different modes there. Tow haul, of course, it's a truck. And sport mode, which sport mode, they're gonna put you in 4x4. Now, small little downside, again, the price. We're looking at 80,000 kilometers before the rebates that I got. And I don't have 4 automatics, sort of like the Bronco Sasquatch models, where you have to go up to Sasquatch to get that advanced 4x4. This doesn't have advanced 4x4. It has your straight 4 high mode. So 4 high at low speeds. You might have heard the tires complaining a little when I went through the corner, and that's because I was in either 4 high or 4 low. So that's a small little quirk, not a quirk, but a down point for me. Spending 80 grand, I'd like to not feel like I have to go up to a 402 Tremor and spend an extra roughly $12,000 to get that 4 automatic. All right, conclusion time. This is where we hit you with the big stuff that you may or may not agree, so we want your comments. Drop a comment, let us know what you think, add some knowledge to the community here at Johnny's Car Care and Reviews. Do like, subscribe, turn bell notifications on, but conclusion time. For all trucks, they're all expensive. I find these days that all trucks have gotten too expensive, and I wonder if a lot of that has to do with automakers having to kind of bring down the overall volume of the trucks that they sell because of carbon taxes. But either way, they've gotten all too expensive. Now the Ford F-150, I can say at least it has a ton of reliability backing it, including the 2.7 liter EcoBoost engine, which is attached to an STX, making that your best bang for buck. Get an STX F-150 if you want a combination of great reliability and power, but do refer to the towing guide. It's called Google Ford Towing Guide, and that'll make sure that you get the right engine for your needs. You don't want to be driving illegally and towing more. If you're in an accident, you can get in a whole lot of trouble. Now, if you are, the tremors are expensive, let's just face it. And I'm not a huge fan of how the 401 doesn't have standard heated steering wheel. And almost at the price, 80,000 Canadian, standard panoramic glass roof. For the price, I feel like those should be included. But those are really, price is really just a low point on an otherwise fantastic vehicle. If you're going to be modifying your F-150, why not just get a Tremor? You'll have better resale than if you just take an XL that you've modified. I absolutely love this Tremor. It was enough to get me to buy. I have bought this vehicle, and I love the F-150s for their reliability and their safety. And safety is a huge point of the F-150. If you have an accident with the F-150, good. I kind of wish with technology like this, Ranger here built with horizontal screen. I'd like to see that come to the F-150, the gasoline-powered F-150, because of course the Lightning F-150 has it. Overall, really pleased with Tremor resale value, and it helps me swallow the pill of them being pretty darn expensive. But let's be honest, folks, I would not have bought an F-150 if it wasn't for the choice of either getting a fantastic optional like 0% interest rate with no rebate, or that $8,000 manufacturer rebate, which I applied to a lease, because then the higher interest did not bother me getting the $8,000 and actually ended up with an extremely impressive lease price, because on top of it I do have an employee price. If ever you need help with a truck or a vehicle, would love to help you. Johnny here at Valestri Ford. So I'm very thrilled and pleased with the F-150s. All trucks have a little room for improvement, and we'll see if the next generation tackles those improvements or not. Either way, I'll be enjoying this truck on-road, off-road, and do stay tuned. Turn bell notifications on, because I'm going to drive this through ice/snowstorms. I'm going to put it just about everywhere and anywhere that I can to make sure you all get the real deal behind every vehicle that we long-term review. Now, the F-150, it's high points, the reasons you'll love it: the safety, the comfort, and on the point of safety, the 4x4, intelligent 4x4 is fantastic. You'll see that coming up in snow, slush, and ice videos. So like I said, hit that bell notification so you don't miss out, because otherwise it's probably the last time YouTube will offer you my content. So help us out here, small family business. Love the look. The styling of F-150s for us is pretty much near perfect. The interior space, comfort, and styling, all huge positive points. This truck scores close to 10 on almost every category, except for when it comes to price and when it comes to equipment. You know, the Tremor, I see it at 80,000 Canadian, pretty expensive. And like we mentioned, no roof for 2024, but you do get it as an option on the 2023s, and you'll get it back as an option on the 2025s. And that's interesting. Ford does listen to its customers. When the buyers complain, we often get what we want. So Ford, mid-model, we're not doing a model change here. It's not a new model, and they brought back the optimal panoramic glass roof like you see in this video to the 401. So Ford, thank you for listening to customer feedback. It explains why this is the most sold truck. Before you get your truck, test drive the trucks on the market. Check the towing guide to make sure you've got the right truck for your needs. Check the payload. That's how much weight you can put in the box, like we see in this image right here. So those are very, very important things to check to make sure you're legal, because if you have an accident and you're overloaded, you could be facing some very serious time behind bars. Well, folks, I really appreciate that you've made it for this far. If you've made it this far, please drop finisher. Let us know what you're driving. Let us know what you think of Ford trucks, and do build one online to see. Yeah, for us, great value on the STX, starting at roughly in 4x4 Super Crew mode, 65,000 Canadian. Our Tremor that we bought in this video, long-term reviewing, 80,000. Did get some rebates as mentioned. Avoided the 402, which I think is absolutely incredibly beautiful, but just didn't have the funds to dish out the 92,000. And if you do like this new tailgate, that's only offered on the 402, folks. And if you do go with the 401 Tremor like we got, we do recommend the $400 option to have the little ladder in the tailgate, because these trucks are high. Now, fuel economy, definitely a bit of a lower point because of the height. It's still good for compared to the overall truck market, but if you want to get the best fuel economy, get a power boost for city driving fuel economy. You'll save about 30 to 40% in the city. And here's a nice little tip: they get about all the same fuel economy on the highway. So if you're doing pretty much only highway driving, go with the motor that interests you the most, and you will have a truck that does not rust. The body panels being made of aluminum won't rust. I've taken in trades that have well over 300,000 kilometers, like on 2015 and 2016s, and the paint's still looking like new. So you'll enjoy this truck for many, many years. Now I want to put out a special thank you to our members that help support our wild projects that cost tens of thousands of dollars and do support this small family business. And we also want to thank our subscribers for supporting this small family business, helping us pay the groceries. Thank you so much. We are really, truly blessed to have you following and watching us. But please do add a comment. And actually, only 10% of our viewers are actually subscribed. 90%, a little over 90%, are not subscribed. So we would deeply appreciate that you do subscribe and turn bell notifications on to help support this small family business as we try to bring you the truth behind vehicles, the real deal. We don't want anyone getting fooled. We want you saving thousands of dollars. So until next time, we wish you all more cars and more power. Have a great week.